Good afternoon and welcome to the March 18th Strategic Planning Committee meeting. My name is Carla Silvestre and I will start the meeting off with introductions to my right.
Good afternoon, Shebra Evans.
Good afternoon, Lynn Harris.
Stratton.
Hi, Karen Stratman, Chief of Staff.
Keisha Addison, Director in the Office of Shared Accountability.
Yvonne Alfonso Windsor, Budget Unit Supervisor.
Darlene Harris, Executive Director, Chief of Staff.
Welcome everyone, and we have some board staff here as well. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Lori Christina Webb, Chief of Staff for the board.
Hi, Robin Seabrook, Director of Governance Policy and Community Relations for the board.
And Ms. Van Dyke is also with us today. Could I get approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any edits or comments on our previous Strategic Planning Committee meeting minutes? Nope. Okay. So at this point in our strategic planning process, we are building the path for our future strategic plan. And so today we're going to hear some preliminary information about how that plan is going to be shaped in the coming months. So I will ask Ms. Stratman to get us started.
Thank you, Ms. Silvestre. And good afternoon again. Today we'll lay out our collective thinking around the work we've been doing towards the fiscal year 22-25 strategic plan. When this committee met in January, we previewed our ideas for moving forward this spring with both the annual report and the strategic plan. Our annual report for last school year is now posted and highlighted on our webpage. It's currently one of our top items in the search function. And just for your information, we will push it through our bulletin, through quick notes, and highlight it in social media efforts next week. As we discussed, it features some measures and information that are different from previous annual reports from MCPS, since we weren't able to fully complete our end of year analysis for last school year due to the assessment realities of the pandemic. At your January board retreat, as you well know, much discussion revolved around the development of the upcoming strategic plan for fiscal year 22 through 25. We could have the slideshow presentation.
I think they're working on it.
Okay. Sure. Next slide, please. In addition, at your January board retreat, the current fiscal year 2018-2021 strategic plan goals were reviewed and discussed by the board, including students ready to learn, with the recognition that preparing for the success in college, career, and community for students begins at their earliest ages. Reducing and eliminating disparities in student learning, and our commitment to ensuring that student outcomes are not predictable by race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or educational need. Students prepared for college and career, an acknowledgement that one of our fundamental responsibilities is to prepare students to lead the workforce of the future. Obviously, this morning's comments and the work session around multiple measures in this arena will drive this work. Ensuring a safe and healthy learning environment, and any research supporting that students are more likely to learn when their families are engaged and they're in a safe and welcoming environment to learn. Effective and efficient operations that allow school systems to maintain their focus on student learning, as well as highly effective employees. Expanded work there as we move to reopen schools, in hiring and maintaining a highly qualified, diverse, and culturally proficient workforce to support the needs of all of our students. And a rather sizable portion of your retreat discussion focused on a 7th priority that's highlighted there in pink. Might be a little difficult to read. There you go. Meeting the social and emotional needs of our students. Historically important, but never more so than in moving out of COVID-19's impact on our entire community. And as emphasized at the retreat, the lessons of trauma-informed strategies and practice. Several board members recognized that trauma may impact students at any stage of their educational career, that when students' social and emotional needs aren't met, they are by no means ready to learn. There was discussion about the needs of our international students in the social and emotional space, how critical those needs are, and that assessments in the social and emotional space are just as important as their academic ones. And that meeting students' social and emotional needs isn't a nice to have, but rather a priority that should be reflected appropriately, especially as moving forward for the next 2 to 3 years. So as you'll see from the pink box in this graphic, we have isolated this as a 7th priority for your consideration. I want to note that it is absolutely in keeping in passage with recent federal legislation, the American Rescue Plan Act, signed by President Biden, that moves social and emotional learning more on par, that those needs become more on par in the space for students and their academic needs. It's further absolutely in keeping with the focused areas of student need displayed in the graphic on the right-hand side of the slide that I know members of the board are becoming more and more familiar with. Dr. Smith and Dr. McKnight have both emphasized in discussing this framework that these 4 broad priority areas for MCPS will undergird our budget priorities over the next 2.5 years. These areas will help to guide our budget planning and collaboration in building these areas out over the weeks and months to come. And in developing a targeted plan in each area, it will be imperative to do several things, including focusing on student data, determining how the budget fits into and supports the work and needs of these areas, ascertaining the intended impact of our work in these 4 areas while evaluating the efficacy of our efforts and efficiency of our efforts along the way, and ensures that the work aligns with the strategic plan of the system, which is the focus of our discussion today. Strategically organizing the budget, operations, policy review, and human resources to provide essential support to all 4 of these areas will lay the groundwork for best serving our students and supporting our families. As a system, we're developing and devising a planning process that will collectively and strategically involve our association and our community partners in developing a comprehensive plan in each of these 4 areas. And just briefly, mitigating learning loss and disruption, which includes identifying and providing differentiated best practices, culturally relevant strategies and instructional approaches, and to minimize any disruption, or as much as we can, minimize disruptions to instruction and any negative impacts our students feel there. A focus on our most poverty-impacted schools, where we'll use data to identify the unique needs of individual students and accordingly maintain a student-centered focus. In terms of well-being supports, we'll be working to articulate the connection to student well-being to the educational and academic programs available across our district, and to further include the well-being and supports of our staff, as we know they are recovering as well from the impacts of the pandemic. And finally, focusing on digital learning and supports. The COVID-19 crisis has forced us to innovate how and where we teach and learn. This work will focus on developing a multi-year plan around digital learning supports to invest in and enhance a virtual learning experience for students who choose it, as well to reimagine how work is done efficiently and effectively to leverage the lessons we've learned from the pandemic in the world of virtual learning. And as always, underlining this effort is our commitment to equity, excellence, and innovation. So I'll now turn it over to Dr. Keisha Addison. Dr. Addison will talk about the instructional and programmatic foundations for moving this strategic plan work forward.
Thank you, Ms. Stratman. As we think about the ways, next slide, please, we support students in the district and measure progress, it is important to discuss the interconnectedness of your strategic plan with the All-In Equity and Achievement Framework, as well as the 2.5-year plan. The All-In Equity and Achievement Framework focuses on ensuring all students have access, opportunities, and resources needed to meet their full potential. This framework undergirds a lot of the work in the district and includes the Evidence of Learning Framework, which is focused on performance of students in literacy and mathematics using multiple measures, the Equity Accountability Model, which is focused on the impact a school has on the students it serves, equitable access to resources, or what many refer to as the ERS study, and it also includes the Be Well 365. Many of these aspects have been used as ways to measure the extent to which the strategic priorities are met. As Ms. Stratman shared, we also have the 2.5-year plan, which is essential given the current environment and the need to address the needs for all students. The 4 priority areas, as Ms. Stratman mentioned, directly align with the strategic plan. As we go through the presentation, I will highlight these connections for you. Next slide, please. Here again, we have your strategic priorities, which includes the additional priority focused on social and emotional needs of students. Before we go deeper into the indicators that have been used before in the strategic plan, as well as share some potential new ways to measure, I want to share how these priorities influence how well students learn. As a researcher, I would be remiss if I did not provide you with some highlights of what is in the literature about these strategic priority areas. Additionally, it is important to look toward research and evidence-based practices to provide equitable access to opportunities for all. Fundamental to student learning is having a rigorous curriculum and using curriculum-based assessments. Ensuring access to digital curricular resources for students and teachers, especially during a time where some students are learning remotely, is one way we connect to our efficient operation strategic priority. In order to know whether students are ready to learn, we need to first understand their learning needs. That is, understand the gaps that exist between their desired level of performance and their actual level of performance. For students to come to school ready to learn, it is essential that they feel safe, not only within the school, but also in their own homes and their community. Connecting both the students ready to learn and the safe and healthy learning environment priorities. Research has shown that safe, happy students and gains in connectedness to classmates and a supportive classroom environment positively impacts student achievement. Further, connecting to the social and emotional needs of student priority area. There is additional evidence that students' readiness to learn and teacher competence are linked. Highly effective employees. So with this, we know it is essential to focus on professional learning of not only teachers, but all staff. Professional development opportunities for teachers, the professional development opportunities that teachers receive have been found to be a strong predictor of teacher efficacy. Additionally, professional learning for teachers is essential to enhancing student outcomes. Now more than ever, it is important to identify ways to measure our progress toward mitigating learning loss that all students have experienced. As we progress through the rest of this presentation, you will see indicators for each of your strategic priorities. The indicators in Black font are those we have identified previously, and the indicators in purple font are potential additional measures. What is indicated is not an exhaustive list, but the preliminary thinking of additional ways to identify indicators under the strategic priorities, given the current environment due to the pandemic. We know that some of these measures have been impacted by state and district decisions, which is where some of the ideas in purple may help. Next slide, please. For the students ready to learn priority, you will notice the measures are those in the All-In Equity and Achievement Framework. Most of those are in Black. More specifically, we have used the Evidence of Learning Framework, components of the equity accountability model, and Be Well 365. Upon reflection, the equitable access to resources should be in purple because we didn't really use that before as program indicators. The other two areas in purple are summer learning opportunities and community schools. I do want to also add that these indicators also connect to the 2.5-year plan in regard to mitigating learning loss, focus on most poverty impacted schools, and well-being teams. Next slide, please. For the reducing and eliminating disparities in student learning priority, you will again see that the all-in equity and achievement framework is included. Graduation rate is also a measure used previously, and some other potential measures include enriched and accelerated learning opportunities and technology and online learning. For the last item, one might think of things such as ensuring online class or course resources for all students, or even access to devices. Next slide, please. For the students prepared for college and career strategic priority, again, the all-in framework is highlighted, but there are also additional measures such as SAT, ACT, and the Maryland College and Career Readiness Act of 2013, which we shared this morning in the board presentation. Some other areas to think about include dual enrollment, post-secondary enrollment, and career and technical education programs. Next slide, please. With safe and healthy learning environment, in addition to, the safe and healthy learning environment also includes the all-in equity and achievement framework. There are also measures related to student and family engagement, and some other measures that can be included are related to things such as school and nutrition services, mental health supports, and school well-being teams. Next slide, please. Previously, with the efficient operations strategic priority, we used the key facility indicators. Other ideas include communication with students, families, and staff. Also, safety measures, especially when we think about now during the pandemic for things such as personal protective equipment or PPE. Additionally, for the technology aspect, we can think about self-reports of use of technology tools such as Google by teachers, as well as hours of professional learning provided regarding technology training for teachers, as well as technology tutorials for staff. Next slide, please. With highly effective employees, our focus is on recruitment and retention of staff, workforce diversity, and equitable access to resources. Another potential area is professional learning provided for staff. We need to build the capabilities of teachers and staff to do their work differently, especially given the current environment. Next slide, please. For the recently added strategic priority, some areas may include mental health supports, well-being teams, and trauma-informed practices. Now we'll turn it over to Mrs. Alfonso Windsor, who will share the financial investments related to this work.
Thank you, Dr. Addison. Good afternoon. The MCPS FY22 operating budget consists of $2.8 billion, of which we have identified $30 million for these 4 focus areas of the 2.5-year plan. As you can see, we have $10.8 million towards mitigating learning disruption across schools, $9.5 million towards focusing on most poverty impacted schools, $6.2 million for well-being support, and $3.5 million for digital learning and support, for a total of $30 million. Next slide, please. In addition, we are targeting all the ESSER 2 funding, $112.2 million, towards these focus areas as well. Mitigate learning disruption across schools and focus on most poverty impacted schools have a total of $81.7 million assigned. And the reason they're combined is because there's about a $30 million overlap that will fund summer school programs and tutoring programs. And those areas fall within, those 2 programs fall within both areas. We have $10.5 million towards well-being support and $20 million towards digital learning and support. Next slide, please. We also have potential revenue source for FY22, which is the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. We learned yesterday that Maryland will be receiving about $1.9 billion of the American Rescue Plan. Within the next month, we should know how much MCPS will be eligible for. And we expect that most of that funding will be used to support this four focus areas as well of the 2.5-year plan. Next slide, please. And this is a summary of what we just discussed between the ESSER 2 grant and the operating budget. We have about $102 million towards the mitigating learning disruption across schools and focus on most poverty impacted schools, $16.7 million towards well-being support, and $23.5 million towards digital learning and support. And now I turn it over to Ms. Stratman for discussion, open for discussion.
I just want to open it up to questions from my colleagues. Ms. Evans, do you have any questions?
I don't. This was very clear, straightforward, exactly what we asked. So no, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I do actually. Just a question. So I think we've all really clearly identified the need to really fully infuse every one of our 208 schools with trauma-informed practices that are kind of created in ways that are reflective of the unique needs of each school, and with the support of the staff and the students. And I'm just looking at the buckets here in the operating budget, and I'm wondering where do funding to really make sure that we are fully infusing the resources and the professional development for trauma-informed practices. So that, I know that's been an initiative I've been working on for years. When I was a teacher, I took some of the trainings. They were a bit of a work in progress at that point. But are funds in here targeted to the Trauma-Informed Practices Initiative?
To the what initiative? I'm sorry.
Trauma-informed practices.
I can go check on that and I get back to you. I don't have that information right now.
Okay, yeah, I know we talked about the fact that our enhanced, looking at our strategic plan and kind of adding in that seventh piece on social emotional needs. And one of the specific areas is trauma-informed practices, and talking about how the social and emotional needs piece does feed naturally into several other areas of the strategic plan. So just wanting to know with a little bit more focus and detail about when we say we're really all in on trauma-informed practices, what does that mean, both for our operational side and our funding side?
I think what's been presented here in slide 12 is the 6.2 million well-being and support. That is new money to our FY22 budget, in addition to grants that are coming that will support well-being and support. I think your question is what I always ask is more of a functional area. How much is the system investing in trauma-informed schools or eliminating and reducing disparities beyond the per pupil allocation? How much money is going to reducing and eliminating disparities? And so I appreciate the budget slides here, but I think that we are interested in and challenge you. I know that you all are starting to think in terms of functional areas for the budget, but I think that's where we want to go, is to be able to tell our public that we are investing this amount of dollar, and not additional, not grant funded, but out of the entire 2.8 billion, how much is going to reducing and how much is going to trauma informed, how much is going to each of our strategic priorities.
I think on the
Are you on?
I think because of the trauma, the well-being support dollar amount that Yvonne highlighted and that you just noted, Ms. Silvestri. So what I'm hearing your question is you'd like us to really be able to separate out the trauma-informed piece of that around professional development. And my guess is there's trauma-informed monies within the mitigating learning disruption piece as well as a part of that professional development. So we can find that out and get back with you.
Yeah, thank you. And I do appreciate exactly what Mrs. Silvestri was saying in that, you know, we have some real expertise in the system around trauma-informed practices, but we really haven't scaled that up. And so much of the work that I think we're all identifying that we need to do going forward. And again, the trauma-informed practices, that's not just helping students. You know, I think I very much appreciated you again emphasizing that everybody's traumatized, and that includes our staff. So we really want to make sure we are all in to support everybody and giving people the tools that they need to feel like they really know how to do that. Not that we are making everybody a mental wellness professional, but giving everybody those basic tools.
So with your example, Ms. Harris, the trauma-informed practices are part of the larger umbrella of this new pink box, students' social and emotional needs.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you want to see the budget allocation for the larger umbrella or just trauma-informed or both?
I think so. This is sort of like the 20,000 foot view. I would really like to see when we're looking at the various monies in buckets, well-being support, mitigating learning disruption, which that's going to be involving, you know, making sure students are coming to us ready to learn. Just making sure that not only do we have these big buckets that are allocated, but that we can see a little more directly what we're actually planning to do with that money. Again, especially with the trauma-informed practices piece, it's something we've been highlighting, many advocates, allies, and people in the system have been highlighting for at least 6 years now, but we really haven't gotten there as far as a comprehensive inculcation of those trauma-informed practices to all, you know, through schools.
So is the
I'm sorry.
strategic plan the place to see that level of implementation is my only reaction. And I'll let Ms. Dr. Addison comment.
No, I was going to chime in on your request and comment around the budget, the larger operating budget, and being able to break that down. And one of the conversations we had was right now that is a challenge. And so as we brought to you today, the funds shared today are the ones that we clearly can truly track and put under those buckets, but we're not there yet as a district to be able to fully envision what you've requested. We'll get there soon, and I can definitely turn it over to Yvonne to kind of share more in terms of how the budget is tracked and things like that. But I think at this time, which is why we only brought that portion in terms of those 4 areas for 2.5, those are the things that we can easily and readily show you. Here are the monies that are being allocated for these sections. And then as we continue on, we'll be better able to get to what you've been requesting.
Thank you for that reminder. You had told us that before, so I appreciate you reminding us of that. But just as that's where we want to go. That's what we'd like to see. In the meantime, this is what we have.
And, you know, something that occurred to me as you all were speaking, and maybe part of the strategic piece is being, when we're looking and making sure that we are not over-reliant on sort of the Rescue Act funding and the COVID relief funding, because that will, you know, it will help us for a couple of years, but then it will go away. So we want to be sure that we're prepared to make the investments of these kinds of things in the long run, because they are truly, these things are part of the strategic plan in pointing the system where we want it to go.
Just to address that, and Yvonne, were you about to say something? So just in terms of the good news, a bit of what Yvonne shared that we heard about this $2 billion with a B money that Maryland is eligible for out of the American Rescue Plan Act. I mean, it's a really, and Ms. Harris, I know you have a lot of interest here. It's a really exciting thing in that it talks about, it really does, if you'll pardon the pun, put its money where its mouth is in terms of raising social and emotional needs on par I mentioned earlier, with academic needs of students, and it gives weight there. I think that, and that money will be good until, correct me if I'm wrong, Yvonne, until September 30 of 2024. So it's a long-term kind of thing for us as a district and for our country, frankly, in terms of thinking about balancing these things out. So just wanted to note that there. Yvonne, I'm going to turn over to you if you have more to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, yeah, the ESSER 2 is available through September of 2023, which is fiscal year 2024. We're not sure yet how long we'll have the next funding. It might be extended past that. We'll see once we get more information. But I just wanted also to emphasize that we have a 2.8, like we said, $billion budget, and a lot of areas overlap. So sometimes also it's very difficult identifying a specific amount of money because everything overlaps, mitigating learning loss and well-being. A lot of, when you implement it, those areas are funded, through different pieces and in different departments. So we're doing the best we can. I know that we're getting new financial systems that hopefully will help us track the money, the budget differently. But yes, just keep in mind that everything in a way, all those areas overlap for the funding.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I have a quick question. So correct me if I'm wrong. In some of our previous board meetings, when we've kind of gone over the money that we got and how we spent it, haven't we kind of gone into a little bit of detail about what falls under each of these dollar amounts? Maybe we didn't tie a specific dollar amount to what we were doing, but I feel like I remember Ms. Rubin being here and talking about some of the work that's being done under trauma-informed practices and restorative in the budget presentation. So I feel like some of what the questions are being asked might have we have gotten it, but maybe, I don't know if we remember, but I just wanted to make sure that we have received this information, right? And we have the details behind what work we're doing, right? But I think that we're requesting that we see that specifically laid out in the plan, right? I just wanted to just make sure. Okay.
I think also too on the professional development pieces, and Rochelle Rubin is the person where that flows through. Things like, maybe this is what you're talking about, Ms. Evans, and I think maybe in parts of it is where it's been discussed, is like around restorative justice training, which this summer becomes a tier 1 type training. So the goal there, and with the additional monies that we got from the county, that becomes available to all MCPS staff. So I think maybe in terms of what you're asking, I think you're right. I think I'm sure you're right. We have been able to share on the training side, monies coming down through our Office of State and Family Supports, that we've been able to show those kinds of things. So maybe we can pull some of that information back up for you, and that could be helpful in the professional development piece.
It might help a little bit to see how the money adds up in some of these categories. I know, like for focus on our most impacted poverty schools, we talked about, what we're doing around summer programming, the tutoring and everything. So I feel like we've seen details that might add up to this amount, but we just hadn't thought about it. And when you see it here, you just don't think about all the things that fall into these categories, right? So, okay, but thank you.
Dr. Addison, for the different, I don't know what to call them. Like the equity achievement framework is what, an indicator?
So in the past, we've used aspects so I'm saying aspects because the equity accountability model, we have components. And so trying to use different phrasing so as not to confuse everyone. But the aspects of the all-in equity and achievement framework, meaning evidence of learning, equity accountability model, equitable access to resources, we've used those as measures in the strategic plan. So in the strategic plan website, they're listed as program indicators.
So I guess my question was, with the additional ones, are those things that you think we can measure and monitor progress over the next 3 years?
Yeah, so I think we would have to further develop them out as we have these conversations and figure out what are they areas of interest that we want to infuse in, and then figure out what are the best measures to use in the district. A number of these we could figure out, like I'm looking at efficient operations because that's just where I turn my page to. And so we're back to doing transportation. And that's something that we've highlighted before, that we can look at transportation. We do a lot of communication with students, staff, and families. And so we know that's an area that we could potentially measure. Maybe it's how frequently we reached out to certain families, or what are our methods of communicating, or how many hits to a website have we had. So things that we can essentially put a goal to and strive toward and be able to measure them is kind of what we need to hit.
We see the equity accountability framework listed in several priority areas. And so that makes me wonder if there aren't opportunities to fuse priority areas. And I'm open to that. I'm not wed to, we have to have 7 if it makes sense to rearrange things. Because if we're saying we're going to use the same program indicators for 3 priorities, then maybe that should be 1 priority rather than 3 separate priorities. So I just kind of throw that out there.
No, and actually that's a great point. And that's something that I also reflected on as I was working through identifying some of these and thinking about what we've used in the past, and even looking at what other districts around the country have. Some of our buckets are just 1 bucket for them, right? So when we think about students ready to learn, reducing and eliminating disparities, and even students prepare for college and career, that's like our teaching and learning bucket, right? So maybe we collapse those 3, and because the measures overlap, we can do something like that. So I agree that it's an opportunity for us.
Then I also ask you to think about kind of the purpose of a priority in a strategic planning process is to make the system reach for something, right? I give you the example of efficient operations. In the 3 years that I've been on the board, never did we talk about efficient operations. And so that begs the question, had we already checked the box, yet it stayed on the plan? Maybe it was a priority earlier in the strategic planning process, but then not later. And so also ask you to think about what priorities are truly things we're working towards, rather than things that we kind of maybe are doing reasonably well in implementing.
I agree with that. I think the other thing as we continue to have these conversations is to figure out how to best define it, right? Because when we think of efficient operations, our definition of it now is going to look very different, because now efficiency with operations looks different, because we're talking about virtual as well as in person. And so we do have an opportunity there to be thinking more around how are we going to define what is efficient in this current environment?
Ms. Chapman, do you have any updates for us in terms of the committee that is working on developing the strategic plan? Membership, I know we wanted to have our different stakeholder groups, in addition with some business folks. Just any updates around that?
We have, I'm going to let Dr. Harris address that, please. Okay.
Actually, we do. We'll be having our first meeting with business partners after spring break, just to go over actually an abbreviated version of this and some other things that we're doing. And then after that, we'll be looking to talk to another group, as you were talking about, the tiered group, to also talk to some people that are for college or higher ed, just to get input from them and also see what's going on. So we're trying to use the business, higher ed, and we also have community members and union members for the 2.5 project plan that will get involved in helping us with the 4 priorities that ties into the priorities that you have to work on upcoming information, especially as Ms. Harris said, the trauma informed. So there is money for those areas, but also we develop other areas that some of that money might be useful, but we want the input of the community and the unions. So that'll start after spring break, and we'll make sure to update at our next committee meeting.
Could you share the membership?
Sure, we can share the membership too.
And did we ever communicate to our community that we were engaged in a strategic planning process? Ms. Seabrook, at the last meeting, did we send out some social media messages about this process kicking off?
I believe we tweeted it for the last meeting. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, I believe we tweeted it before the last meeting, maybe after the last meeting. We can also put it on our top stories on the board's webpage, just to keep it there so that people can see it as a top story.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Anything, what can we expect from our next meeting?
I think at the next meeting, we'll be able to show, based on the work that Dr. Harris just mentioned and that we have been talking about throughout, we've developed these 4 broad project planning teams around the 4 focused area of needs that I mentioned earlier. Those planning teams include association representatives, both at the advisor level and at the school-based level. They include, obviously, members across our leadership team and school-based teams within MCPS. And those teams will begin to talk about, and they'll take further what Dr. Addison shared in terms of looking at our programmatic basis and moving that into suggested measures for each of those 4 areas. And we'll bring those back for your consideration at the next meeting.
That May, when we meet again?
Yes, it's May.
I believe it's May 18th.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you so much for the work. This is exciting to see what the future holds, and I appreciate your ongoing work on this important topic. Thank you. So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you.